Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 193. I'm Brent Daniels, joined by the incredible Mr. Subto, Pace Morby. And we all have had Jamil Damji in our thoughts. He went through surgery on this weekend. All of the prayers, all of the wonderful positive thoughts that have been put out by everybody has really helped. It was really successful, and we need you to continue to put out those positive thoughts for Jamil in his recovery. What an incredible, incredible guy. He was responding to everybody. He was texting with Pace and I over the weekend and with family and friends, and we're just so happy that he was able to catch this before anything else was kind of went downhill with his spine. So he was able to fix it, and they're very optimistic. So absolutely incredible. Thank you guys all as a group, as a tribe, as a community, for putting out so much positivity for Jamil and so much support for him and his family. It's awesome.
Yeah, we had maybe 30 days ago, I was traveling with Jamil, and I hadn't traveled with him almost all summer because he was, doing a lot more Canadian things this summer. And his hands were doing something really weird. Like he basically like claw hand. He couldn't pick things up. He couldn't walk normally. There was all sorts of stuff going on. I'm like, bro, you got to go see a specialist. You got to go see a doctor. You got to go see something. Anyway, I don't know exactly what it is. I think we'll find out what it is when he comes back and returns. But he essentially got rushed to the hospital over the weekend. He ended up having surgery. And I think it stemmed from a car accident that he had back in 2008 timeframe, where he basically died and came back. He had a spinal fracture. And I think that spinal fracture is showing up again and causing and wreaking havoc in his body. And so he had to actually undergo the knife over the last couple of days. And so he has been texting everybody. He is on the mend. It does look like things are going to be just fine. They did find the source of the problem, is what Jamil did tell me. Do I know what that means? No, I'm sorry. I'm giving you all the information I'm currently getting, but I did talk about this on stage today. I was speaking for Robert Abasolo, Robil, and I opened it up by just saying, hey guys, let's make sure we give flowers to the people who are still alive instead of waiting for these tough moments. And, moments where your friend goes under the knife and has heavy anesthesia to go through an actual surgery, kind of wakes you up a little bit. And I had the audience say thank you to Jamil. 400 plus people all said thank you to Jamil, because Jamil has put a lot of food on a lot of people's tables. He has fed a lot of people's children. He is going to change the trajectory of thousands and thousands of people's lives. He did that for me. My first 100 deals that I did in this industry, Jamil single-handedly sold those deals for me, comped those deals for me. I didn't even have to learn how to comp to do my first 100 deals because of what Jamil brought to the table. And he is an absolute incredible person, somebody that our industry has not even felt the impact that Jamil is going to make on this industry. And so I'm so glad that he's in a speedy recovery. Everybody here is loving on him and supporting on him. We love him. So take a moment. If you're just finding out about this, take a moment, send a message to Jamil and tell him you love him on Instagram and let him know how much you appreciate him.
That's it. on my live shows, Pace, I would always end with my 3 points of wisdom, I guess you could call it. One is keep your house clean. One, your actual house, but your house, right? Your brain, your self-love that you have for yourself. Number 2 is protect your health, right? Because it's the last thing we think about until we're sick, and then it's the only thing we think about, is this, as the saying goes. So it's so vital. And number 3 is increase your value to the world. But 1 and 2 have nothing to do with building business. 1 and 2 have nothing to do with building, strategies and implementing certain, techniques or marketing or whatever else. The last one, increasing your value, sure, but without the first 2, the last one doesn't happen. You know what I mean? The first one of making sure that you have self-love and that you destroy your self-doubt and you protect yourself and you keep yourself healthy. And that leads you to be able to build incredible businesses. And so just think about that, guys. Just take a moment and just really let it sink in, and just understand priorities, right? Understand where your priorities are at and where your attention lies. And this is just coming from me. This is my opinion. You could take it any way that you want it. But I know that when there's self-love and when there's health, that it leads you to be able to build something special. So just make sure.
Do you know when, this is interesting. I just found out about this today. We were talking about self-love and self-care, primarily about women who are raising children and how much they give and give and give and pour into those children, as they should, right? But I found out about flamingos. Have you ever seen flamingos that are not as pink as other flamingos? And then you see flamingos that are like, wow, why are you so pink? What's the difference between you and the light pink or the almost white flamingo? Flamingos lose their pink color as they pour into their children, as they pour into their community. The female flamingos lose their color as they give of themselves to other flamingos. And so they can tell when a flamingo is about to pass away or when it's having issues based on the color of their feathers. And when a mother flamingo is done feeding their child and kind of gets back to taking care of themselves, they get all their color back. And that's a natural phenomenon, but it's the only animal that you can visibly see what happens when you give and give and give, and you are not necessarily making yourself a priority. And they see a lot of flamingos. They don't know when enough is enough, and they just keep giving and giving and giving, and they end up dying. And so I look at Jamil and I'm like, bro, you're so busy giving and giving and giving. You got to take care of yourself. You got to pause for a moment and give for yourself, because there's those moments where it's going to catch up to you. So make sure you have a little bit of balance. Take care of that cleaning of the house, as Brent is saying. So really good point. I love that.
There we go, guys. We are here for 4 reasons. Number 1, most importantly, for you to squad up. Squad up. We've got an incredible live audience today. We've got an incredible group in the chat. Guys, there's a few different ways to watch the show, a few different YouTube channels, a few different Facebook groups. But while you're in there, make sure that you're posting to those groups. Let everybody know where you're doing business so that you can squad up and find people that are doing this business. It's absolutely critical. Number 2 is to give you the instruction that you need to go out and find incredible opportunities and to build actual businesses. Number 3 is to answer your questions. So the show doesn't really run real smooth if we don't have questions to answer, guys. So anything that you're dealing with, if you've got a deal that you're having some challenges with, we want to get rid of those challenges and answer any questions that you have in the chat. So make sure that you're doing that. Matt will be pulling some questions. Pace does a great job of pulling questions, and so we can answer those. And then the 4th reason we come together for 90 minutes every Monday on Wholesale Hotline is to celebrate your successes. I don't care if you closed your first deal. I don't care if you talked to your first property owner. I don't care if you went and you drove for dollars, or you went and you met a realtor, or you went and you talked to somebody about their property. Whatever it is, it's a win. And we want to celebrate you, because the fact is most people have no idea what you're trying to do. Your family doesn't. Your friends probably don't. It just depends. But we want to celebrate you here on Wholesale Hotline. So that's what we're here for. Those 4 things: squatting up, instruction, answering questions, and celebrating. Adventures.
Can we celebrate one of my deals?
Yes.
Okay. I just closed a multifamily deal in Amarillo, a multifamily deal in Lubbock, totaling about 50 units. And I also closed on 3 sub-2 deals last week, put them in the portfolio. My average interest rate combined on 60 total doors is less than 3% interest.
Come on.
Which is awesome. Also, Adventures of Keithius. He says, hey, I thought Pace was downtown here in Houston. I am in Houston. I spoke at Rob Ilt's event today. I did not want to miss the opening of Wholesale Hotline because Jamil is on the mend. I wanted to say some words. I will be going to the meetup here in about 30 minutes. I've already told everybody I'm going to be late, but people don't go to meetups to meet me. They go to meetups to meet each other. Bro, you want to hear something crazy? I've never done this before, but I tried something new today. This is really interesting to think about. I was speaking on stage for Robert Abasolo, and at the very beginning, I go, I don't know why I felt this way, but I was like, I want to see how much money is in this room. So what I did is I did a contest. It was a room of about 400 people with 40 tables, 10 people at each table. And I said, let's do a contest to see which group has the most private capital at the table. So I said, I want everybody to put up their equity. I want everybody to put up their cash. I want everybody to say what your net worth is on a piece of paper. And it's a room of 400 people. So then I want you to add up everybody. I want you to put the number on a piece of paper, put it face down and slide it to the middle of the table, shuffle it up so nobody knows who has how much money. And then what I want you to do is I want you to divide that number by how many people at your table, and we'll come up with the average net worth of everybody at that table. How much do you think an average real estate event, networking event has? The average person has a net worth. What do you think the amount is?
Well, assuming that they're being honest, right? Which our industry is not very known for that. I would say probably on average $500,000.
That's which is crazy. Even to think about $500,000,
right?
Like you look at a room of nearly 500 people, and you're like, I don't have money. I need private capital for a flip. I need this to do a rental. I need this for my construction. I need this for getting started in the bit, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The average net worth in that room was a little over $800,000.
Yeah.
A room of nearly 500 people, the average net worth is almost $800,000. Crazy. And they had one table of 10 people. Their average net worth was $12 million per person. Crazy. And my point to that is that you guys don't know where all the money and the deals are right here in the hotline comments right now. Okay. So sit there and make sure you guys are introducing yourself. If you're a sub-2 community member, let people know. If you're a TTP community member, let people know. Tell people that you can help them. Tell people you have resources so people don't have to extract it from you. Make sure you are telling people that you are open for business in the side comments as Brent and I answer questions today. Brent, it looks like you have some slides you want to go through today. Is that right?
I do. I knew that you had to. I knew that you were in Houston, so I had some things prepared.
You want to go through those, and I'll chill with you and maybe add some commentary?
Absolutely. What I want to break down is if you're going to go direct to the property owner, the 17 steps of every wholesale deal. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's go.
I want to go through that because I think it's really interesting. I think it's really important and interesting to understand step by step what needs to happen. So then you can start doing your lead generation with a lot of confidence. All right. So Matt, if you'll pull it up, and we'll take a look at the 17 steps. Matt. Is he? Oh, there we go. Nope. That's 7 steps. Sorry, his mouse is not responding. There.
I got it.
Here we go. Number 1. All right. Here we go. 17 steps to every wholesale deal. Number 1 is you have to have a list to target. All right. I don't care if you're door knocking. I don't care if you're cold calling. I don't care if you're text message marketing. I don't care if you're email marketing. I don't care if you're doing pay-per-click. I don't care if you're doing TV ads. I don't care what you're doing. What is your list to target? Now, if we look at every single property, there's 143 million residential properties in the United States. 6 to 10%, statistically speaking, from the 2020 U.S. Census is in some sort of distress, whether it be physical distress, whether it be financial distress, and the more uncommon one that doesn't really get registered is emotional distress that a property owner will have. So we're trying to narrow down that 143 million down to that 6 to 10%, depending on what market you're in. All right. Obviously, the older the properties, the older the areas, the East Coast, some of the South, some of the Midwest, you've got properties that have been around almost a couple hundred years. These are properties that need significant investment into them to bring them up to today's modern standards. So we want to go after properties that have some sort of distress. All right. Vacancies, distress. Pre-foreclosures are distress. It's a rundown house is distress. All of these different ways that we can go after them. We have to make a list so that we can target. And the next step, because it all builds up to the next step, which is having a quality conversation. We have to talk to the property owners. We have to make contact with them. I don't care if you're at a place now in your business that you are spending money to have people call you, or you're going out there and you're trading your efforts for the cost, right? If you're out there making the calls or knocking the doors, it's not going to cost a lot, but it's going to take a bunch of time and effort. So how are you going to make contact with them? And each one of these guys, you have to think in your mind, okay, who am I going to go after? What am I going to do to have a quality conversation? How am I going to make contact with these property owners? Because it's absolutely critical. Number 3 is to pre-qualify them. We pre-qualify every single property owner based on 4 things: the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation, and their price. These are the 4 things that we need to know. This is the skeleton. This is the scaffolding of every conversation that we have with the property owner is based on those 4 things. So if you're like, I've never had a conversation with a property owner before, I don't know what to ask, you ask those 4 things: the condition, the timeline, the motivation, and the price. How much work does this property need? When do they want to sell? When do they want their money from this property? Why do they want to sell this property? And how much do they want? That's what we're trying to find out. Is there anything else, Pace, that you would say you need to pre-qualify on?
Nope. I love it.
Awesome. Next, this is when we do our due diligence. This is where everybody screws up. This is where people are busy, but they're not productive, because a lot of people want to comp a property before they actually talk to the property owner, or they want to go through different scenarios. What if I offer them 1% down and owner financing over 10 years? Then there's the balloon payment, and I'm going to make payments to them for $500 a month, whatever. Or I'm going to give them a cash offer of this amount. I'm going to have this already prepared. I'm going to do the research because I know how much this is going to sell for fixed up. Don't do that. That's what amateurs do. Pros have conversations first. And this is something that it really sucks up a lot of your attention, is doing all the due diligence before you know it's an actual lead. And what is a lead? A lead is somebody that has made the decision that they're going to sell their property. They made the decision. They're going to sign a piece of paper that's called a deed, and they're going to transfer the ownership from themselves to somebody else. They've made that decision. Remember, we're deal finders, not deal creators. You're not going to convince people to sign this document to sell their property if they are not 100% ready to sell that property. So don't waste time with people that aren't really leads, people that just want you to comp the properties, people that just want to know how much someone will pay for the property. You need to understand, do they have a timeline? Have they made the decision they're going to sell this property? And then there, you can do your lead follow-up sequence. You can reach out to them. If it's a hot lead and they're ready to sign in the next 30 days, they're ready to make the decision, next 30 days, you call them every day. Every day. If it's over 30 days, you call them at least twice a week. And if it's beyond 90 days, you call them once a week. That's their lead follow-up sequence. It doesn't have to be elaborate, doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to do automatic AI integration to send out messages to these people. It takes 30 seconds to do lead follow-up. It takes 30 seconds because 80% of lead follow-up is voicemails and texts. That's 80% of it. Next, you go on your appointment. You try to get an appointment. If you're virtual, do a virtual appointment. I highly suggest you do something over Zoom. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can have a phone appointment. But if you can get face-to-face, knee-to-knee, belly-to-belly with property owners, on average in our business, you get 20% higher deals if you're face to face. That's what I have found in the Rhino Tribe. That's what I found with our own business. We get 20% more if we can meet the people. And then you give them an offer presentation. And the offer presentation is a natural progression of all the things that you did 1 through 7. You went after somebody that's in distress. You had a quality conversation. You found out the condition, timeline, motivation, price. You understand what they want for the property. You understand what you're willing to offer for the property. You do your lead follow-up. You get in front of them. You build rapport. They're ready. They trust you. They like you. And now you should get the agreement approved. Just like Jerry Norton says, it's never paperwork. It's an agreement. We don't ask them to get it signed. We ask them to approve it. Right? Boom.
Hey, should we maybe congratulate Dimitri, who said in coordination with your number 5 lead follow-up sequence?
Lead follow-up sequence. There we go. Dimitri is a perfect example. Guys, he is doing this from a totally different continent. He lives in Europe. He just got $16,000 assignment fee from following up for 15 months. Here we go. Come on.
Boom. Divide that into months, right? So he made 16 grand. Would you follow with the seller a couple of times a month to make basically $500 per phone call?
It's 60 seconds, right, Pace? I mean, how much? You usually have to touch base anywhere between, 12 and 20 times, somewhere in that mix before you actually get that deal done, right? And if it takes you 30 seconds to a minute on average for lead follow-up, unless you're actually talking to them every single time, which most of the time you're just leaving voicemails and planting seeds with a text message. What is that? 15 minutes, 16 minutes, 18 minutes, 30 minutes to make $16,000. And we go, oh, that lead won't ever sell. They're ghosting me. They'll never respond to me. They will when they're ready. Because you're top of mind, trust me. Unless they've blocked your number, you're in good shape. And then
one of the best deals I ever did was a lead that we just kept following up on.
Yep.
And here's what the lady said to me. She said, "I'm not going to reply to you until I'm ready." I go, okay. So we just sent her a text message every 2 weeks. And 2 years later, we made 180 grand.
Yep.
Every 2 weeks. I shot her a text message. Sometimes we'd call her, right? Just to like touch base with her, remind her what our voice sounded like, etc. Made 180 grand on it was about 20-month follow-up. But you look at that, it's like, bro, are you kidding me? We made like $9,000 a month that we followed up with this lady.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've had years. There was a deal that we did in Flagstaff Pace this year that we made $58,000 on. I had originally talked to her in 2019.
Damn.
Right? And we just called her every month, and she answered every month, and she was waiting every month until she wasn't. And then we had to drive up to Flagstaff, which is 2.5 hours away, and she had her pick us up at Ryan and Chad, my acquisition managers, pick her up at her house and drive to this cabin, and we put together the deal right there. But it was 2019 to 2023. Now, I usually get rid of leads a lot faster than that. It just depends. But there was real motivation here. She really wanted to sell. The pricing was fantastic. It was just a timing thing. It was just certain things were coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. And so, yeah.
For the people that are just tuning in, we've got about double the viewership from when we first started. You want to remind people what we're currently going through right now, Brent?
Yeah, Matt, will you put it on that 17 steps one? Here we go. Yep. No, you had it, Matt. Just the cover page. Yep. There you go. 17 steps to every wholesale deal. That's exactly what we're going through. So now we got the contract signed. Oh, boy. Now we're cooking. Now we've got some real opportunity. What are we going to do? Well, the first thing that you're going to do, next one, Matt. Yep. There you go, is open escrow and deposit your earnest money. If you have earnest money that you have agreed to deposit the earnest money. Because in a lot of states, it's not a valid contract without what's called consideration. So you put in your deposit. you deposit your earnest money so that you can make sure that you've got a valid contract. You open up the escrow with either a closing attorney or an excellent escrow officer. Now, this steps, guys, 10 through 17, if you want to know what Astro Flipping is, this is where Astro Flipping comes in. This is when those quick flips come in. This is where you get the where you can be a disposition company if you want to be. This is where the people that haven't built up their cash buyer database reach out to you to do this right here. All right. Number 10, market the contract to your cash buyers. The cash buyers, guys, in a wholesale deal are not buying the property. They are, but really what they're buying from us is the opportunity to buy that property. All right. They're buying the contract. That's it. You were the only, when you sign a purchase agreement with that property owner, unless stated otherwise, that they have the ability to take other offers on that property, they can't sell it to anybody else. It's your deal. And so you have the right as an exit strategy to market that, the right to purchase that property. That is what happens when we put out these properties to our cash buyers. Do you want to buy this property at this price? Here's the contract. Do you want to buy this contract? That's it. And then you get your cash buyer inspection. You set up a cash buyer inspection, which if you're in a market like Phoenix, 80% of the deals that we do are bought sight unseen. Let me say that again. The buyers do not go through the property. It's bought sight unseen. And so the other 20%, they want to see the properties. As the market tightens up, more and more buyers inspections are going to happen. They're going to want to get into those properties more and more. But when it's a hot market, they just buy them sight unseen. They know their numbers. Step number 12 is you assign the contract, and now the contract's with the buyer. And then they have to put in, based on your assignment agreement, you want to make sure that it's not valid unless what? They put in their earnest money. Boom. $5,000 non-refundable earnest deposit in the next 24 hours. That's how you know you've got a solid buyer, guys. That's how you know that you're going to get this deal done. That's how you know that you don't have to take this property down yourself or find another buyer for it. They're putting $5,000 non-refundable down to assure you that they're going to close. Don't skip this step. Don't skip it. And by the way, when they put their earnest money in, you get your earnest money back. All right. That's a question that comes up a lot. All right. And then from there, you just make sure that everything is done at title, and they tell you 3 beautiful words that I love. It's like a song in my ear. It's like springtime. It's like a beautiful fall walking through trees with the leaves changing. Clear to close. Clear to close. That means there's no more obstacles. That means that everything is lined up perfectly. There is a runway of which you are walking down, and at the end of that runway is a big fat check, a big fat wire deposited right into your bank account when you hear those words, clear to close. Next, you make sure that the buyer's funds are getting wired in. That's the next step down that runway, and then you close the deal. The deal is closed. The buyer now owns that property. The seller does not own that property anymore. And you just have one big decision to make. And I already alluded to it. Do you want the cashier's check or do you want the wire? That's it. They'll ask you that. The title company closing attorney will ask you, do you want this wired or would you like us to give you a cashier's check? And when you start out, you want that check because you're like, what's up? I want to hold this. I want this tangible. This is real life, right? And then you do a bunch of deals like Rafael Cortez here, and you just get it wired into your account, and you don't even count it. You don't even check your account. You just know it's in there. But that's it, guys. That is the 17 steps. Let's just run through it one more time, Matt, for anybody that's just jumping on here. Target your list. This is for going direct to property owner. You got to find a list to target, whether that's with marketing or prospecting. You make contact and have a quality conversation. You pre-qualify them based on the condition, timeline, motivation, price. You do your due diligence, which is really comping the property to understand what you can offer. You do your lead follow-up sequence. If it's a hot deal, you're calling them every day. That hot deal is somebody that's going to sign an agreement in the next 30 days. If it's 30 to 90 days, then it's going to be twice a week. And if it's over 90 days, it's once a week. You go on your appointment, you do your offer presentation, which is a natural progression of all the things that you did 1 through 6. You get the contract acceptance, not contact acceptance. We'll change that. You open escrow, you deposit your earnest money, you market your contract to your cash buyers. The cash buyer gets an inspection. You assign the contract, and the contract is now with the buyer. You make sure that they deposit their earnest funds. I make sure if I sell a deal before lunch, it is in there before end of business day. They have to get their check in before the end of business day the same day. If it's after lunch, then it's by lunchtime the next day that they get it in. You get that beautiful clear to close. You get that check. You make sure that the buyer's funds are going to be in there. You close the deal and then check the box. What do you want? Cashier's check or wire? How do we do, Pace?
Really, really good. There's a couple questions. What are the best lists to target, which is step number 1?
That's fantastic. So just starting out, most people get their first deal from driving for dollars. It's just you find ugly houses. You find houses that need significant rehab. If you want me to put it in a kinder terms than ugly houses, but you find houses that are run down. You find houses that need to be renovated, and you talk to the property owner and see if they want to offer on that property, see if they want to sell it. And then from there, you can go after vacants. You can go after pre-foreclosures. You can go after, I really like when we're really working it. And I know that Jamil is talking a lot about it as well, but AI is predicting who will sell at a discount based on all of the previous sales that are happening. And it's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. And so, yeah.
So Ethana says, how do you open escrow? Is this
Love
with the title company?
Yeah. So what we do is we have, there's an app called TurboScan. And so we'll take a picture and TurboScan and turn the agreement into a PDF and send it to Dina, our escrow officer, at the appointment. We'll open up escrow at the appointment. And all that is in the title, you put in new escrow, you put in the address, and you go, Dina, here's another one, and PDF. Boom. And she gets to work, right? And so that's what it means, opening escrow. You don't actually have to like walk into the title company with the documents and put it in their hands or anything like that.
I mean, I used to like doing that. We don't do that anymore. I haven't done it for years, but it is really nice when escrow officers get really busy, because they do, that if they like you, they take care of your stuff a lot faster. So if you guys ever feel the need to build really good camaraderie, go into your escrow officer's office, drop off some Nordstrom gift cards, and thank them for being awesome. We used to send our girl, her name is Danielle. We would send her every quarter. We'd send her and the other girls in the office $500 to Nordstrom that they could just go buy their own stuff and just say thank you and order them lunch and do nice things to them. But I used to go into the office and open escrow just so I'd have an excuse to come in and say hi, give them a hug, and tell them that we love them and we appreciate them, etc. So it depends on what you want to do, but we don't do it that way anymore. And it is sad, but at some point your business has got to scale and you can't just be involved every little thing,
Yeah. Dina, I mean, listen, you got to treat your title company, your escrow officer, like they're part of your team, truly. And you gotta make them feel like they're part of the team, and you got to celebrate them, and you got to send them as much business as possible, and really refer your friends to them. And really, if you get a really great escrow officer that has a really big motor and the batteries come included with these people, it is I mean, Dina's texting us at 9:00 on a Friday night, closing deals for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Dina's
so
awesome.
it's absolutely incredible how powerful somebody that's a great escrow officer or closing attorney can save your deals. She's actually made us pay $62,000 this year because she referred us one of her buyers that buys in small towns in Arizona.
I love that.
So we've been doing TV, we've been doing pay-per-click, we run across these smoking deals in like Holbrook or something. We're like, what do we, we don't have buyers there. She has this buyer that all he does is buy in these tiny towns and makes a fortune doing it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out, if you don't mind, to Kelly Humbarger.
Yep.
Last time I saw her, hopefully she doesn't mind me saying this, but she was crying about the job that she had was keeping her from being around her kids or her baby. And so what I did is I offered her to work as a transaction coordinator on my team and train her as a transaction coordinator so she could learn how to do all these types of transactions. And I got a call from Molly today, and Molly just said, Kelly started out with no experience in transaction coordination. I didn't expect a lot from her because she's so new, but she's really been impressing the whole entire team. And I think even Kelly sent me a text message today just saying that she is doing 3 transaction coordinations this week on files. And so,
Awesome.
guys, there's a lot of different ways to get involved in real estate. You don't have to be the cold caller. You don't have to be the buyer. You don't have to be the wholesaler necessarily. You can also be a transaction coordinator. You can be an escrow officer. You can get involved in real estate and really learn on the job of how to be an investor. So shout out to Kelly Humbarger. She gets to work from home. She gets to be with her kid. And she actually makes money. I took her from a commissioned job to a essentially salaried job. And now she gets to work from home and be around her kids and touch all these subto and seller finance and wholesale transactions. And just want to give her a shout out because those women like the Dinas, the escrow officers of the world, and the Kellys and the transaction coordinators, they really are the ones that keep our transactions tight and glued together so they don't fall apart so we can go and get more deals. So shout out to Kelly. Good job. You're doing a great job. Really, really proud of you.
Awesome job, Kelly. Especially with some of the deals where there's just so many moving parts, right? To get everybody on schedule to close on time is really, really critical. So, I mean, I've had a transaction coordinator since 2005. I wouldn't even mess with it. 100%. 100%. It is worth every single cent to free you up because listen, attention management is important. And we should be out there, especially when we're young and we're in our hustle season, young in our business, not just age wise, but when we're in that hustle season, we're finding great opportunities and building our pipeline of leads and starting to close. You got to be on the hunt. You got to be lead generation almost 100% of your day, at least 80%. And so you should have somebody that's really well organized. They've got everything taken care of and helping you get it through the finish lines. It's awesome.
Michael Rojas says, my wife wants to be a transaction coordinator. How can she do it also? My head of operations, Molly Tennant, she does training on how to do transaction coordination. You guys can go to toptiertc.com, toptiertc.com, and you can learn how to be a transaction coordinator by going through the training there. Pace, can I just give you $1 million for every one person you have helped?
Sure.
You imagine I'd have at least $14.
Maybe 15.
Stephanie V says, how can I get started becoming a TC? Top tier TC. Same exact thing. Hey, Baze, at what point do you stop following up with a seller before an auction, 24 hours before auction date, the day of auction date? Also, what is your SMS drip campaign looking like? Aaron, my partner, Cody Barton, will show you what our SMS drip campaign looks like inside the subto vault. So you go take a look at that. But the auction date, if the seller's getting foreclosed on at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm following up with that seller until 9:59 because there's always a chance to get a deal postponed. There's a way to do a whole bunch of things on a transaction. You should be following up. In fact, most of the foreclosure deals we get are like 3 days before the seller gets foreclosed on because they finally it's setting in. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my house. All these sheriff signs and all this stuff that's been going on. They're actually not lying to me. I better sell my property. So we follow up all the way until the day of. In fact, I just posted a YouTube video like 4 months ago, I think, of a seller. I got a student from Aaron Green out of Alaska. One of my students in Alaska calls me. He goes, I have an Arizona deal that's getting foreclosed on in 2 hours. Will you help me? And I was like, bro, I'm in my underwear. Yes, I'd love to. So instead of taking my daughter to school, I put my daughter in my truck. I run down. I pick up the seller. We run down to the foreclosure steps. We postpone the foreclosure, and we end up buying it on a sub-2 deal, and saving the seller from foreclosure the day of. Like literally, the postponement document that I got had like 2 minutes to spare before they actually took it to the auction. So follow up, man, every single day. And when I picked up the seller, it was a 30-minute drive to pick him up and 40-minute drive to Phoenix. So I sat in the car with him for 40 minutes. This is a guy that's about to lose his freaking house. I recorded this whole entire conversation with him. And I said, and this is on my YouTube channel, I said, bro, why'd you wait till the last minute? Like, just tell me, just level with me, dude. Like, just please tell me, like, because I would love to show this video or tell other sellers that they're just as crazy as you are. And he goes, honestly, man, I thought I was going to figure it out all the way until the last minute. I thought I could do this on my own. And it wasn't until the day of that I picked up the phone and I let Aaron convince me that it was time. And I said, do you realize how crazy that is now? He goes, yeah, but I couldn't have been convinced any other way. So you have to understand foreclosures are different. They're a different breed. You got to freaking follow up until the morning of the foreclosure. Okay. Okay. This is a good one for you, Brent Daniels. What do you do?
Yeah. O-Rod's been asking this a bunch. Yeah. I like
question.
this. What do you do when you have a buyer who signed the assignment but hasn't put earnest money deposit, but now another buyer who's offered more and is ready to put in earnest money deposit? What does your assignment agreement say? Does your assignment agreement allow you to cancel that, revert the contract back to you if they don't deposit their earnest money within a specified time? So what you want to do is you want to talk to the title company and say, hey, listen, will you go through my assignment agreement and let me know if I can just cancel this guy because he hasn't put his earnest money in and I can move on to somebody else? So that's the question you have to have. And if this is the lesson that you learn from this one, to add that to your assignment agreement, great. You're always learning in this business. So just check and see if it's in there. I'd be curious to know what assignment agreement you use. Does it have it in your space?
Yeah. 24 hours.
Yep.
We we changed ours a year ago. Ours says 12 business hours.
Got it. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Ours says 8 business hours. You have 8 business hours. So if it's noon on Tuesday, you have until noon on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And awesome. So if you don't put EMD in, I don't even have to tell you. I can go and sell that. I don't have to babysit you.
Yeah.
It says that if you breach contract, we were never in contract. Your EMD is the contract.
And make sure whatever state you're in, and obviously talk to an attorney. We're not attorneys, so make sure you get the right verbiage from an attorney in your title company. But make sure that you can just do it yourself. If they don't put the money in, it triggers it, and you can do it yourself. You don't have to have them sign something as well, because they'll go, yeah, well, I'm not signing anything unless I get my earnest money back. And it gets a real sticky situation. That happened to me a long time ago when I didn't have these things in my assignment agreement. So, yeah.
Hey, Jeff Smith, I'm going to be coming to the Houston meetup in 5 minutes. I'm leaving here in 5 minutes. So thank you for holding it down for us. I'll see you guys in the meetup here in like 20 minutes probably, but I'm going to leave here in 5 minutes. Okay. Michael Rojas. What's the general salary for a transaction coordinator? So there's 2 ways to look at a transaction coordinator. Either A, they're being paid per file and they run their own business and they're like a 1099. We have a couple of girls in our top tier TC community, like Jennifer Cortez, that are bringing 50 grand a month being a top tier TC. Okay. Why do we call them top tier? Because they're certified. They're actually certified. They get trained. They get a certification. TopTierTC.com. And then you have some girls that are like, I don't want to run a business. I don't want to go out and find the files. I want to be a part of a team so that I can get plugged in. So like when you come on a team like mine, I think you start out at like 3 grand, 4 grand a month, something like that, like base, your base is like that. And then some of the girls on my team are like 7 grand, 8 grand a month, something like that. They make good money and they get to work from home and they get to work on their own hours and all that kind of stuff. So, and they can go on vacation and take their laptop. They don't have to tell us when they're on vacation. We don't care. They just need to get their files done. So I have 6 full-time transaction coordinators on my team. 6. That's how many deals we're doing. And all of my girls on my team are on salary because they don't want to have to worry about running out, finding deals, building a business, systems, processes. So there's 2 ways to look at it. Do you want to work on somebody's team for a salary, or do you want to build your own TC business? Okay. Top tier TC.
Yeah, because it's unlimited if you build your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, but some people, that's just not what they want to do. They want to be a part of a team and have the consistency and not have to go through the the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. So decide what you want to do.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. But this is Mighty Mike Reed talking about keeping his team motivated about constantly staying on top of the foreclosure leads. Guys, I can tell you that when I was doing foreclosures as my main strategy back in 2018 and 19, I felt the same way. I was like, man, I must really suck at my job. I must be a really horrible acquisition person, because this was at the time when I was out in the field a lot 5 years ago. And you just got to learn the psychology of a foreclosure seller. You are not crazy. And I wish I knew it earlier in my career that it's just a follow-up game with foreclosures all the way until the day of. That's all there is to it. Okay. Can we hire your TCs? No, you can't hire my TCs. But what I would do is like Marisol Sanchez. She's a top tier TC. She says, I love being a certified top tier TC. There's nothing better for folks like me. So find the TCs that are in the TC community. Make sure they are top tier certified. They are the only ones that are trained to do it like my team. Okay. So you can go hire them, but do not hire my team. My team is too busy doing my own stuff. Okay. Is it easy for a TC to find work? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? Okay. How can somebody apply to work as a TC? Because my wife would love that. Michael, I'm sorry, I'm not hiring at the moment. And when I do hire, you have to be a woman. I do not hire men as TCs because I find men are not as detail oriented. Yes, I'm sexist. It's my own business. Kiss my ass. I can do whatever I want. And, but that's not you, Michael. I know that's not what I'm talking about. And they have to be in state of Arizona. I like having the girls come to the office once a month, and we just have lunch together so I can connect and hang out with them. So there you go. Here's a good question. Carrie Scott says, I'm leaving the service soon. Do you suggest I work for an investor who has a bigger company, or do you suggest just get a regular W-2? F that. Are you kidding me? Why would you get a W-2 job when you could go work for a bigger investor and make the same amount of money? But what you're doing is actually something that's going to empower you to be better as an investor yourself. If you're going to have a W-2 job, Carrie, and you have the ability to choose, make sure you choose a W-2 job that has real estate written all over it. Escrow officer, title company, work at a title company, work for a closing attorney, be a notary, for heaven's sakes, be a top tier TC, do anything but be working at a W-2 if you have the choice. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense.
Carrie is a Rhino. She's well trained. She knows what to do. Just keep building your pipeline of leads, because once you get out, boom, you should be doing fantastic business. So it's just, are you doing your lead generation? Are you being consistent with it? If so, then you're going to be in a beautiful position. It's going to be a wide open runway for sure.
Mo S says, hey, I just joined. What does TC stand for? TC stands for transaction coordinator. I have not done a deal in real estate without a transaction coordinator running quarterback on it, doing the paperwork, following up with the buyer, the seller. Go watch a video on my YouTube channel says, what is a transaction coordinator? And you'll see. But I have not done one in probably 8 years. I haven't done a real estate transaction without a TC in nearly 8 years. Brent, this is a good question for you, and I'll get the hell out of here because I got to go to the meetup.
Love you, bud. Have fun.
Give
everybody in Houston some love.
I will. I'll show them the biceps.
There you go. War Child XL as a newbie. Which market? First of all, can we just get rid of the word newbie? It's like a label. You know what I mean? Like let's not say the word newbie anymore. Let's just say that you're starting to build momentum. And I'm not just talking about you, War Child XL, but I just think that like when I hear people say that they're a newbie, it gives you the excuse that you're not ready to really start taking a massive amount of imperfect action because you're in learning phase. Like the learning phase comes from going out there and falling on your face and looking silly. And that's what the whole massive imperfect action part is. And I'm not just saying you, War Child, but just everybody. Let's just get rid of newbie. Let's not label ourselves. Let's just let's do some powerful things. Which market would you recommend that I focus on? Also, should I worry about real estate agents getting fed up with contacts from investors? First of all, never be worried about people getting fed up with you interrupting their day, because that's essentially what it is. That's essentially what prospecting is. That's what lead generation is on some level, whether it's an advertising or whether it's just you prospecting and going there. We don't worry about the people that are fed up. We're worried about the people that need help. Because the people that need help and we have the skills to help them, that's how we get paid. That's how we build businesses. That's the whole thing, right? And so don't worry about that. If you've got a great tone of voice and you've got a lot of optimism and you've got a lot of conviction, I'm telling you, a convicted professional, a convicted entrepreneur, a convicted just person out there that just has stars in their eyes and electricity coming out of their hands and they're just ready to go, melts all of that kind of negativity that's around them of people that don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. Right. So just go out with a lot of conviction that you are a powerful real estate entrepreneur and you want to find great opportunities. You want to help people that want to trade price in their property for speed and convenience. That's what it is. Because the property owner gets, there's three options, right? Price, convenience, and speed. And if they want speed and convenience, then they have to, the price has to be on our terms, right? And so that's what we're looking for. Who wants to go and sell their property? Who wants to get rid of this property right now? And they don't want an agent. They don't want to put it on the market. They're embarrassed about it being public. They just want a private sale and be done with it. That's what we offer. And what I would what I would tell you to focus on, which market, is your own backyard. There's opportunities everywhere. I would focus on your backyard and I would find the 100 ugliest properties that you can. And I talk to every single one of those property owners. And I would just ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. And if you need any scripts, we got all the scripts, wholesalinginc.com. You can download them all there. They're all available for you and just check them out. And that's what I would do. We have a question. Nate, what's up, man?
Yeah, if you're planning on wholesaling a property with an auction date.
Hold on. Matt, you good? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
If you're planning on wholesaling a property with an auction date, and you get the contract signed the day of the auction date.
Yeah.
How are some ways that you can buy time or delay the auction date so you can market the property?
You're going to have to reach out to the trustee. You're going to have to reach out to whoever is in charge of that foreclosure and get it postponed. Mm-hmm. And so you just got to, they don't want it to go to auction most of the time, right? They don't want to take back a property. They don't want to run it through foreclosure. So they're going to do everything up front, right? They're going to do loan modifications. They're going to do all those things. But if it really gets down there, they should be welcoming to you getting it postponed and not having it go through foreclosure.
Got it.
So you just got to really communicate as much as possible with them.
What about when it comes for them, like, to just apply for bankruptcy instead of filing it? When should that be used instead, or if it should be used to delay it?
I've never used it. Yeah, I've never used it. You know, if I've got a purchase agreement with it, we usually get it postponed really easy. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Good. Great questions. Awesome. Let me pull this up real quick before we get to some more questions. I just want to put this out there because I think it's important. All right. And there's certain steps to this, and I think it's real important to understand this because I did this completely wrong, and I see a lot of people doing this wrong, and it really adds time to how long it's going to take you to hit a financial goal. But the first step on all of this is to make sure that you do your first deal. All right, whatever you have to do your first deal, to make this real, to get proof of concept, to pull out of thin air some income from this business. So number one is to do your first deal. Number 2 is to build a full-time business, right? This is where you're not working in it, you're working on it. This is where it's a servant to you. This is where you go and you get to fire your boss and then build consistency, and then you get to fire yourself. And you've got this really, really good full-time business that's running. Maybe you're working in it on some level, but at some point you've got the vision that you're going to pull yourself out of the day-to-day. Next is to kill all your consumer debt. I say this all the time, and I don't know how many people really listen, but some people do. But I don't understand why people are investing in real estate that have student loans. I don't understand why people invest in real estate that have credit card debt or car payments. It doesn't make any, you're somebody else's ROI right now. So you're paying all these things. The average American goes from January to June just paying your taxes, and then June to October paying interest. So we go from January to October paying taxes and interest to other things. So get somewhere where you can get enough cash flow in a business to where you can pay those things off. And once you pay those things off, I am telling you, I don't know a single person that won't tell you that it is one of the best feelings in the world. It's one of the best feelings in the world when you don't have consumer debt. And then you invest in the assets, and then you can go and find really great opportunities. And then you can get that passive cash flow that you're looking for to get to the financial freedom. Dennis, go ahead. Hold on. Yep.
Afternoon. So my question would be, if you're new to the business,
Yes.
and you're trying to pay off your debt,
Yes.
you still want to try to wholesale and get proof of concept first.
Yes.
And
That was step 1.
And another way that I've heard that you could probably do it is getting like a wholesale or a whole life insurance policy with a reoccurring infinite banking on it. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're getting money that's going towards it.
Where's the money getting produced from? Nobody's giving out free money.
No. They're not. But it's what I'm sorry. I lost train of thought. What's that called when you start accruing interest in a life insurance policy?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah. I just build businesses and get cash flow from that and pay off debts and then buy assets. That's it. There's no silver bullet, Dennis. There's not. You got to build a business. You got to do deals. There's no easy route. There's no easy route that's going to go long term. There's not. And so that's what's really, really, really important. And really, where are you going to focus? Where are you going to focus your energy? Where are you going to focus your time? What are you going to do? Are you going to go out there and find your first deal by taking massive imperfect action? And then are you going to build a business out of that? And some people don't. Some people just want to, be on the court all the time. They want to be self-employed. They want to go on the appointments and they want to find those things, or they want to buy rentals and property manage it themselves. I think they're crazy, but some people, that's what they want to do, and that's fine. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I see has been the most effective for myself and the most effective for the people that follow this plan, because once you don't have debt, you win. Read all of the books. Read all of the financial books. They'll all tell you to pay off your debt. They will. I'm not saying your mortgages. I mean, you can, if you're getting debt on some cars or something, you're leasing them out and doing the Turo thing, that becomes a business and an asset. That's different. But assets put money in our pockets and liabilities take money out of our pockets. And so the number one asset that I want to encourage everybody on Wholesale Hotline to build is a business, is a real business, a wholesaling business. And it's phenomenal. And it's the absolute best. The margins are bananas. The margins are bananas. And then you get to cherry pick the best deals to add to your portfolio. It's awesome. It's the best business ever. But the financial freedom comes from paying off that consumer debt, getting out of that. Don't be that. Taxes are going to get you either way. You could buy enough real estate and you can depreciate it. But for the most part, it's 27 and a half years. You could get accelerated depreciation from real estate. But the fact is, if you sell it, it's gone. And then you have to pay that back. So there you go. let's put some more questions out here. Do Gravity Hurts? Do I need a transaction coordinator? Not off the bat, but certainly as you build your business, for sure. That'd be really, really good to have. Is to have your transaction coordinator, because they are they're going to free you up, and when you're freed up to be able to go and take action, that's when you really start building the momentum. Awesome. Any other questions from the crowd? Annie, Raph, the young guys? No. All right. We already did that one. Give me the other one, Marcus. There we go. Marcus, how do you check to see if the buyer's funds are there? That's the title company will let you know. The title company, most of the time, people are going to get like hard money loans on the properties. And so what you want to do, make sure is that they're communicating, the hard money lenders are communicating with the title company. And as long as they're communicating with it, it's good. Awesome. Jerry, how do you close a seller once you followed up? That's awkward for me. I love that, Jerry. Listen, the closing is all about the natural progression of doing your lead follow-up and your pre-qualifying. So if you pre-qualified and you know the condition, timeline, motivation, and price, and you're doing your lead follow-up and you're presenting it, you know how much they want for the property. So then it's really about getting advanced agreements. All right, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, before I come out to the appointment today at 2:00, is there anything stopping you from moving forward? If we agree on the terms, we agree on the price, is there anything that would stop us from moving forward today? Right? Advanced agreements. Now you know what objections there are before you go out there. Ask the question, is there anything stopping us from moving forward? Well, I need to collect 3 offers and we're going to take the best offer. Okay, what does that mean? What is the best offer? What does it mean to have the best offer? Pull those out. All right? Awesome. Nancy asks, how do you decide on a market? I would just stay in your backyard, Nancy. Now, if you have, if you're in an area that is less than 100,000 people, you're going to have to expand at some point. But if you're just getting started out, just start in your backyard, right? And really go to the meetup groups, really find out who the investors are. Because some markets, there are like 5 or 10 like investors that kind of run the whole show. And that makes it really difficult to grow in those markets. And so you want to discover that pretty early so you know how to expand. All right. Antoine, hey, Brent, can you wholesale a bank-owned property and how would you find them? No, typically not. Typically, a bank is going to put it on the market with a real estate agent. They're going to put it out. They can only take a certain percentage of the price that they put it out at. But there could be some good deals that pop up that are bank owned, but they'll hit the market first. Typically. Now, if there's some smaller banks, maybe the smaller banks will let you talk to them, but usually it's frowned upon because there was a lot of insider trading with banks. So they make sure that it gets put on the market. All right. Carria, yeah. How much does an average cold caller make? And with being a cold caller for that company, will you make enough money to live off of? You know, I pay my cold callers $24 an hour. So probably. Yeah. If you're really good, absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're here and you know how to make the calls and you know how to go on the appointments, why not do it for yourself? Right? There you go. Awesome. Can you pull up real quick? I'm going to just bounce around to some stuff, guys, and you guys tell me if you're interested in learning more or what. But add that cash buyer ladder, please. I think this is really important. All right. Cash buyer ladder. If you look at how do you get the most out of every deal, and really this business comes down to recognizing potential. All right. Recognizing potential. What is the potential exit strategies for the properties that you're negotiating? At the top is 100% ARV. Has anybody ever here bought a property, creative finance at 100%? Right. 100%, right? It's 100%, but you buy it because it's a great opportunity for appreciation. It's a great opportunity for wealth building, and you could sell those properties at 100% of the ARV. But look at the very, very bottom. The people that are going to pay the least amount for your deals are wholesalers, because they got to make their profits on it too, right? Another wholesaler is going to take your deal, put it out there, add some money, or split the profits with you. So they're going to be at the very bottom. Next are going to be fix and flippers. They need to have a big enough spread to be able to buy this property, fix it up, take the risk, put it on the market, sell it, have all those costs, and still make a profit. All right. Next are going to be your BRRRR strategy, right? You buy it, you renovate it, you rent it, and you refinance it. Right? Your BRRRR strategies are going to be the next ones, because they know that they can get their money out of this, and they're just going to recycle their money so they can pay a little bit more. Next is rental portfolio, Airbnb, people that are going to buy little houses and add on to them, or add little guest houses to them, owner occupied. And guys, listen, hedge funds are coming back. Hedge funds are coming back. They are buying, and they're picking up again. So that's going to be an interesting strategy. It should not be your only strategy, but it's an interesting strategy. Raph, are you doing any deals with these right now? Yeah. Will you grab that mic? Guys, Rafael Cortez, everybody.
What's up, fam?
Yeah. Come up here.
Always fun hanging out with TTP.
Brother. Great to see you. Happy Monday.
You too.
Here we
Happy
go.
Monday. I wasn't counting on Spotlight tonight.
Well, you're in it.
So, but yeah, we are doing hedge funds are back. They're sketchy. They're still, quite a bit, strict on the stuff that they're looking at buying, and they got a lot tighter on their pre-qualification, I guess. But they're coming back, and those who are back are actually, making offers, not as high as they used to be, but they're still there within, 5% of the stuff that we were seeing before. So yeah, they're back. Yeah, and absolutely, like creative financing deals.
How do you go after them?
Hedge fund. At this point, it's connections. It's just conversations that we've had through the years. They usually have a representative, an agent, or somebody that they kind of use to scout out, right, buyers and properties.
How would you, if I dropped you in, whatever, Sacramento, how would you find the hedge fund buyers in that area?
Real Estate Investor Association. First thing I would do is I would go to one of those, and I would start just asking questions. Yeah, because there's people who are tapped in, man. They're connected, right? Like if you're not aware of like everybody looks to level up, to squat up, right? That's one way of doing it. But go to a RIA, go to where the conversations are happening. There's going to be a lot of tire kickers. That's a guarantee, right? We always get that. But there's also going to be people who are actually doing deals, and then they're going to be connected. Go to your investor-friendly brokerages as well. They're really, really good resources for that kind of stuff. Go to your escrow officers, transaction coordinators, if they're out there. There's one in particular that we use. She's connected to just about everybody and their mom. Yeah. So we get a lot of resources. Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rafael Cortez, everybody. Rafael's only done like 2,000 deals. It's absolutely incredible. Awesome. Now, there was a question about repair costs, and I want to kind of go through this. Now, you can do a really good job. What would you say, Raf, from a price per square footage, from just a cleanup job?
We ballpark 15.
Yep.
Yeah,
$15 a square foot.
Right? If it's a cleanup job, something basic.
Yep.
At the very least, we're adding a $15 per square foot budget to the rehab.
And then middle of the road, you're doing kind of new cabinets, you're doing full floors, you're doing cosmetic.
We go 20 to 22 depending on the location, then bump it up to
30.
25, 30.
Yeah. And then usually about 50. So it's usually 15, 30, and 50 typically price per square foot, just depending on, the condition of the property. If it needs some major remodeling, then we're going to go $50 a square foot. And you want to add $10,000 for anything major. You need a whole new pool resurfacing. You need a whole new roof. You need to put a block fence up around the property in some areas. You need to replace the heater, the boiler, or the air conditioner. $10,000, $10,000, $10,000. So add that on there for sure. But 15, guys, 15, 30, 50. 15, 30, 50. That'll do a great job. And if you want, you can use this little fix and flip guide. Again, this is at wholesalinginc.com. And this does a pretty good job, right? If it's an easy remodel at under 1,500 square feet, 20K. If it needs work, 35. Wow, this is bad, 50K. With any major items, add 10,000 each. And then that goes up, obviously, the bigger the property is. So take a screenshot of this right now or download it at wholesalinginc.com. There we go. Full screen, baby. Matt's on it. There we go. So make sure that you guys check that out. And guys, you don't have to be a contractor for this. You can eyeball this. You can figure it out, and you can honestly do the 15, 30, 50 if you want, or you can use that chart to really help you out. Are you guys getting value out of this? Is this helpful today? Yeah. I feel like the mood got brought down when I'm like, pay off consumer debts, and everybody's like, oh shit. Oh my God, what an asshole. But it's really important, and I don't mean I say it aggressively because I'm just telling you. I would always, as a young man, I would always be like, you know what, it's okay. I can put this on the credit card. I could get this loan. I could go there. And when you get cars repoed, right, and you lose the credit cards, and you have a terrible credit score, and you can't even turn utilities on without your parents co-signing for you when you're like 28 years old because your credit's so bad, it's because of debt. And debt really is suffocating. I think it really limits our creativity. It really limits our ability to go out there and fearlessly take massive and perfect action, because we're like, oh my gosh, what happens if I can't pay for the interest on these things? So I just think it's really, if you can get to the point where you're closing these big deals and you want to put some money into your business, great, but also pay off those big time debts, Pay off some of those big time debts that are just sticking around. You're going to feel fantastic. You're going to feel really, really great. All right. Joe asks, how do you create your systems and process to be consistent when doing lead generation? Can you give 5 steps you do now? Yes, absolutely. Matt, am I able to use the whiteboard? All right. There we go. All right. This is a great question. All right. The processes and systems to be consistent don't have to be anything crazy when you're getting started. It all comes down to, are you time blocking? Are you blocking your time? Now listen, if you can't go full time, you got to find the nooks and crannies in your schedule where you can take action. If you have a lunch break, you can go on Zillow right now. Not right now, it's not lunchtime, but if you have when you're on your lunch break, you can go to for sale by owners and just call on Zillow or Redfin and ask them if their property is still available. It's a conversation that you're having, and it's an easy one because they want to sell their property. It's not an agent, it's a property owner. You get to build up your experience level. But this is what I did. From 9 to noon every day was prospecting, was calling, was lead generating. That's it. 9 to noon every day. And then noon to 12:15 was lunch. Stop taking an hour and a half for lunch. It's nonsense. All right. If you can go meet somebody that is really successful in real estate and have lunch with them, great. Do it. That's fine. Absolutely. But if you're just screwing around and you're like, oh, this is my TikTok time and my Instagram time and my nonsense time, it's going to bleed into the rest of your productivity. But this is lunch. All right. Next, from 12:15 to 1 o'clock is your lead follow-up. The morning is for finding deals. The afternoon is for doing deals. All right. And then from 1 on, you're either going on appointments or you are selling your deals, or you are pulling your lists or whatever else. This is more like back end, or you're driving for dollars. And that's to 5, right? And then you're done. And then you're absolutely done. I did that every single day, 9 to noon, not every day. I did it 80% of the time. Do it 80% of the time, and you're going to feel really great. Because the fact is, this is hustle season. This is hustle season. A lot of people can't get through this. I will tell you, today, in the Rhino Tribe, Stephanie Hunt and 30, 40 other incredible people in Wholesaling Inc. Did the Empty the Clip Challenge. They talked to over 100 new people today. Stephanie did 106 new conversations today in one day. In one day, she had no real estate experience. She had done no deals. She raised her kids. She did a stay-at-home mom. She was doing incredible things. She was wonderful. And now she's a powerhouse. Now she's doing all of these incredible deals. All right? That's it. It's just making sure that you time block and you really it's not beneath us to do the hard work. And that's why I say that the dumbest people make the most money in this business. And I truly believe that. And I don't mean that they're unintelligent. I think they just keep it dumb simple. They just do the work every single day and they're not overthinking every step in the process. There are people out there that own properties. They're in distress. They will trade price for speed and convenience. How are you going to find them? How are you going to find them? If you don't have a marketing budget for them to call you, how are you going to find them? If you don't have the reputation in your marketplace that you buy these properties, how are you going to find them? Keep it simple. Keep it really, really, really simple. You don't have to get crazy. We have all these things that distract us. I had somebody joined the Rhino Tribe today that spent 25 grand in a big traveling, seminar circuit thing, right? And he said, and I hear this over and over and over again, 25, 30, 35,000 they spend, they find where you have it in your pockets and wherever, in your equity, in your house and whatever. And then they just keep you in education mode. Because if you're confused, you don't take action. If you don't take action, they can go, well, you would succeed if you just took some action. You just need to learn a little bit more so that you feel comfortable taking action. It's bullshit. It's a scam. It's literally designed. I've met with these people. It's designed to keep you in this education bubble so you feel good about learning because people get some endorphins from learning, but you don't actually go out and do anything. And if you do anything, they put you on stage and they're like, look at this. This could be you, right? Don't stay in education mode. Those days are over. There's no hidden secrets anymore. I remember going to all those seminars. I remember sitting in there and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so complicated. This sounds so crazy. All this paperwork and all this stuff and all this different things that I got to learn how to say. There are people that want to sell their property. Go find them. I just did a whole 3-day seminar in one sentence. Seriously, right? I mean, that's what you guys get it, right? I mean, how many hours of calls are you making? Throw them the 7, 8 hours. There you go. 7, 8 hours. 19 years old. You guys see him every week on here. There you go. Right? Yeah. How many people did you talk to today?
I don't even know. At least 200 each, probably.
200 people each today?
Yeah.
You find any leads?
He might have one, yeah.
A deal or a lead?
A lead.
Who were you talking to?
Agents.
Well, talk to property owners. I mean, you talk to 200 property owners each that own ugly houses. Yeah. I mean, you would have at least 10% of those are going to be leads statistically.
What list? If we want to try it.
Any of them. Okay. Vacant, driving for dollars, pre-foreclosures, tired landlords is like half of the business, right? So yeah, Dennis doesn't. Yeah, you can talk. Yep. Empty the clip. That's it. Awesome. Yeah, just keep it. Jim, do you find wholesalers selling to other wholesalers often? All day, every day. All day, every day. Yeah. Listen. You can build an unbelievably successful wholesale business never talking to a property owner. You can. You could just sell other people's deals. You 100% can. But you better build a really strong buyers list. You better build really great relationships. And you better have a wonderful pipeline of people sending you those deals. That you can absolutely do that. So right now we're testing. There is Spencer Caldwell, and I've talked about him on here. There's a great interview, guys. If you haven't seen it on my YouTube channel, you have to see it. It's incredible. It's called How to Wholesale 8 to 10 Deals Every Single Day. This guy's done 20,000 wholesale deals. All he does is get permission from other wholesalers to aggregate all the wholesale deals that are coming out, that are on people's blasts, and he puts them out on Twitter and he puts them out on his email blast twice a day. And he, right now in the slower market, 2 to 3 deals every single day. And he doesn't upcharge them. He charges his buyers $1,500. $1,500 a deal. And he'll do thousands. I don't know why my voice did that on thousands, but it did. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's if you have the buyers are the big asset, right? But I like doing big deals. I like going direct to the property owner. I like getting the whole kit and caboodle. I like getting the big juicy ones. I like doing massive deals. I do. It gets me excited, doing it. But so anyway, Spencer Caldwell, we're doing the same model. I've got Chad Coulter Sr., who's fantastic. And he's running the disposition and he's sending it out. It's called Rhino Wholesale, and he sends it out twice a day, and we're just aggregating everybody's deals and we're trying to sell them. And he's done, it's been 3 months and he's done 17 deals. Right. But the average deal size is like 2,000-3,000. Right. One deal from one of my acquisition managers that we just locked up today and have put out is 30,000. The other one we should lock up tomorrow morning, could be 80,000. You got to do a lot of $2,000-$3,000 deals for that, right? You got to have a system to be able to do that, but it's possible for sure. Brian, lead follow-up has become too much for me to do alone. Nice. And I'm ready to scale. I want to hire someone to do lead follow-up and eventually be able to offer on close a deal. What tips do you have around that? What's a common compensation structure for this position? I love it. What you're talking about is a junior acquisition manager. All right. Let me tell you something that took me a while to get there. But once I did, it has been a huge impact on my business. Everybody, my lead manager, my disposition manager, my acquisition manager, my junior acquisition manager have a base of either 50 or 70,000. 50 or 70,000. So Chad has a base of 70,000 and he gets 2% of the deal. 2% of what we make. All right. And so listen, for top tier people, it is my belief in my experience that you have to pay them a really good base. But that won't make them hungry anymore. Salespeople, if you give them a base, you take away their claws and their teeth and they won't go and they won't hunt anymore. It's bullshit. It is, because they're not worried about paying their bills. They're worried about, are you going to do your part of this team? Because it truly is a team, right? Is the team going to win? When you find people that the team is bigger than themselves, because you take away that whole like eat what you kill type thing and you can give them a really nice base, they can focus on the goals of the team. You actually make more money. One, because you get the best talent. And two, because they're not worried about paying their bills. They've got that figured out. So now they're just going bananas. Now they're just focused on how far can we push this? When you hire people and you give them a big base and they're real top tier people, they don't give a shit about the money. They give a shit about their potential. What's the potential that we have inside ourselves? What's the potential of our group? What's the potential of our team? Can we win the championship, which is our goal? It's awesome. It's awesome when you can give them a good base and less commission, because some people will pay their acquisitions 10%, 15%, but most of them are commission only. And that just, in my experience, that leads to a culture of heavy turnover if it's just commission only. But I get it. It's seductive, right? We go, I can add somebody to my team and I don't even have to pay him anything. This is perfect. I'll just give them 10 to 15% and I'll tell them how great the business is and they'll be so excited and that'll be it. And they're going to be running this thing in no time. If you have a very aggressive in-office business structure, that works. That'll work for you, for sure. But I don't. I found, the best talent wants to go. They want flexibility. They want to be able to work from home and do their job, and don't need a high level of accountability because they keep themselves accountable. But we meet every week. They have to do daily reports every day, just saying what happened that day so that we can keep everything in line. But I'm not like putting cameras in their house watching them. You know what I mean? I'm not making them come into the office so that I can, make sure that they're doing their work. It's pretty obvious to know if they're doing their work because we're doing deals. So it's good. FISA Enterprise did 5 deals last month, total 23,700, closing on a 40K wholesale November 6th and closing on my very first subto November 13th, 25K entry fee, 3.8%. Come on. That's awesome. FISA. Awesome. Keep it going. Keep the money. Put it away. Forget about it. Start every day at 0. Start every day like you have no money, that you have no prospects, you got no deals pending, you've got no opportunities, and you have to get up and you have to find it. Start every day at 0. Because when you close a big deal like that 40K is going to be, we start getting ideas. Put it away. Don't even think about it. Keep going. Stack that cash. Efren, my man, 100% recently partnered with Cali Wholesaler and a realtor to assign a deal in Illinois. We split $16,000. He's in the Rhino Tribe. Go. Great job. Great job, guys. That is absolutely incredible. People are out there doing deals every single minute of every single day, every single second of every single minute. People are doing deals. It's absolutely incredible. But I like that mention there by Anthony Johnson. It's all about the long game. And I don't know what he's referring to. Maybe it's something else in the chat, but I agree with that sentiment. Like how many people have businesses that we know that are in your market that are older than 10 years, older than 15 years, older than 20 years? How many? For real? Because there's a lot of people that have come in and we see the stuff that they're doing and they haven't even gone through a tough market cycle. We felt it a little bit end of last year. That squeezed a lot of people. But how do you build long-lasting businesses that are highly productive, highly profitable even? You got to have really, really good principles, and you have to make sure that lead generation is number one. We are a sales and marketing business as wholesalers. We are. I mean, that's the engine. That's what we do on the front end. Now our exit strategies can be all over the place. We could keep them, we could flip them, and we can assign them. There's only 3 exit buckets. So what are you going to do? Lindsay, I closed my first deal on Friday, submitted 2 more offers today, and have 2 seller appointments tomorrow. Finally cooking in Phoenix for anybody looking to squad up. You can't do deals in Phoenix. Come on. Here we go. Oh, but Phoenix is such a congested market. There's no opportunities. Not for Lindsay. Lindsay is going bananas. 100%. Doing deals in Phoenix. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, come up here and we'll say goodbye together. Come on up. Come on up, everybody. Come on up. We'll end this show. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being around here. I know that you have all the different opportunities in the world for whatever you want to do. But on behalf of Wholesale Hotline and the live audience, we want smiles back there, guys. Come on. Big smiles. We love you guys. Squad up. Find some people that are doing this business. Keep your house clean. This one especially. Protect your health and increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. We'll see you next week. Love you. Lee.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.